How's it going, RVers? This is Eddie here at Veurink's RV Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we finally got a sunny day, so we wanted to get out here and check out one of our new Renegade Viennas that we just got on the lot here down in Grand Rapids. You've probably seen a bunch of Renegade videos just because we want to make a video for every single one that we get in stock, just because we get like 10 a year. And so this is a 2025. The front cabover area doesn't look like what you typically see in our videos because this does not have the cabover sleeping space. It is the second option that you can get from Renegade. So when we head inside, we'll check it out, but it's a little bit more of an aerodynamic front cap rather than a cabover sleeping space, but it'll give you some good storage actually up front. But we'll check it out when we get inside. This is a 2025 Renegade Vienna. This is the 25 RML. And so it's gonna be a 25 footer. I wanna say it's about 25 feet, 6 inches on a Mercedes Sprinter chassis. That is a 3500. It is a 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel. It's gonna have 4,200 pounds of towing capacity. You're gonna have side view cameras, a backup camera that stays on when you're going down the road. You're gonna have adaptive cruise control, lane assist, a really nice infotainment system, kind of everything you would expect from Mercedes as a manufacturer. Renegade does not skimp on it. Some manufacturers do a little bit more of a dulled down chassis where it's not gonna have like the power seats, the heated seats, the adaptive cruise. That is not what Renegade does. They make sure that you're buying a luxury coach, it should feel like you're driving a luxury vehicle. Which is really nice. So on the outside of this VRML, this is gonna be the Geneva color scheme. There's 6 different color schemes that you can go with. 2 of them are solid colors, gray or white, and then the rest of them are gonna have this color, like this paint scheme, where it's 3 separate colors and it's gonna have the same kind of graphic that you see down the side. But you can get them in a few different colors. There's a black base, a white base, a more silver and blue, and then a more tan and maroon. Geneva and Telluride are typically what we go with just because they're the most neutral, but I think the Geneva looks phenomenal. Especially if this gets dirty, you don't have black on it, which is gonna show a lot of that dirt and a lot of that smudging, so that white and silver base looks really sharp. On the outside of any Renegade Vienna, I'll have to figure out a way to get that open. You'll see that later in the video. But it does have an outdoor entertainment system, which is gonna have a soundbar and a TV. Something cool about Renegade, if you've seen some of my previous videos, I always touch on this, is they make all of their baggage doors in-house. They are aluminum, they're insulated, they're double hinged, they're slam latches, just so you don't have a cutout of the fiberglass. These are super heavy duty. They got a couple guys down at the factory that make these on their Vienna, all the way up to their Classic, to their XL. They are the same baggage doors, just different sizes, which is really unique. In here, you have an actual solid, like composite material, so you can put whatever you want in there. What you see in there right now are slide locks, which are provided by Renegade. So if you wanna lock your slide in place when it is in, when you're going down the road, you do have that opportunity. But you don't just have like a flimsy piece of plastic that's in there. You actually have those solid composite baggage containers, which is really nice. And then just listen, it's just awesome. It's really solid. Over here you have the Truma AquaGo water heater, which is going to be a tankless water heater. Something that's a little bit different compared to a lot of other manufacturers is this is the Comfort Plus model. So a lot of people have just your typical Truma AquaGo, where it is a tankless water heater, but it doesn't have a circulating system. So some people might utilize like a shower miser where it just circulates the water till it gets hot right at your faucets. The Comfort Plus model, which is what Renegade uses, has a built-in circulating system. So it makes sure that when you turn on your faucet, you're gonna get hot water super fast and you're not wasting a bunch until it gets hot. This is gonna have the enhanced lithium battery package. So the reason I'm opening this up is if it didn't have it, there'd be a generator right here. But since there is enhanced lithium battery package on this 25 RML, you do not have a generator because you have a ton of lithium, a huge inverter, a secondary alternator, and we'll go over that a little bit more just to make sure that you're fully boondock capable. So no generator, but you get an extra storage bay. Another smaller storage bay right here. Good spot to put your sewage hose or something, or any of your extra camping materials. Toss that right in there. It's not very big, but you do have some GFI outlets too. So if you wanted to hook up like an electric griddle on the outside, but you didn't want it, you wanted to keep it away from your outdoor entertainment area, that's a good spot. Power awning, which is a Girard awning. When it does come out, it does have a third arm in the middle just to make sure you have some extra supports. And then there is an LED light bar that's right there. Something that's cool about Renegade's construction. Of course, you know this is full body paint, 3 different colors, 2 layers of gel coat over top of it. A lot of manufacturers use Luan or Azdel to bond their fiberglass too, so if there gets water intrusion, there can be delamination between that fiberglass and that Luan, where you get bubbling. On this, you do have a thicker fiberglass that's bonded straight to the frame, which is really nice just because you don't have that opportunity to have a delamination between a piece of fiberglass and Luan or Azdel. But they do a thicker fiberglass on the outside. On the back, you're gonna have a backup camera, and then you got a molded back bumper. So don't want it to ever happen if you ever did get rear-ended, and it doesn't cause a ton of damage, but you just have to replace this bumper. It's not a full back cap, so they do have that separate piece just to make it a little bit cheaper for you when you, if you have to get any sort of repairs. Like I said, 4,200 pounds of towing capacity. You do have a 7-weight plug on the back too. So it comes built in with a receiver, towing capabilities. On this end, this is a 30 amp coach, so it is not 50, so just 30. You have 1 air conditioner on board. So you can see we're plugged in on the back. Renegade does a great job with their wet bay. You do not have to worry about having stickers that could fall off or anything getting wet in there because it is metal. And then you also have all of your labels water jetted out at their factory just to make sure that they're built for you to hold on to for a long time. They want to make sure you can still use it for a long time. But you have a propane hookup because this still has a propane furnace. There is a connection in there. All your water hookups, outside spigot, and then you do have your gray and black tank dumps back here too. Heading down this side, you have 1 slide out. For all 4 of their floor plans, I want to say this is the 2nd largest slide out because you're going to have your bed right here, and then you're going to have your theater seating right here. So 2nd largest slide out. You do have a couple windows that do open up. They are frameless windows with screens, and then you have a slide topper already on board. That's not something you have to purchase secondarily. This is a luxury coach. It's going to come with almost everything you need. As you come down over here, this is the most expensive option that you can get on a Renegade Vienna from the manufacturers. So this is going to be the enhanced lithium battery package. You do not have storage compartments up here right next to your chassis. You have 2 400 amp hour lithium batteries, so 800 amp hours in total. They're TBB power. It is upgradable to 1 more 400 amp hour lithium battery, so you can go all the way up to 1200. It's very nice and clean. Everything has a spot. It's not just throwing a bunch of wires in there. Everything is routed. You can see it zip tied together in a lot of places. It looks really clean. That's a big thing that makes Renegade Renegade, is how long they take to manufacture these coaches, and they put a lot of effort into these. If you head over to this spot, you have a storage area, which would be a 3rd battery if you wanted it, but you do have a 3,000 watt inverter just to make sure you can run everything in the coach, because you do have an induction cooktop. You also have an air conditioner. So this is a total off-the-grid, run from battery power coach. So that 3,000 watt inverter is totally necessary, but that is where it is stored on the outside. With that lithium battery package, 800 amp hours, lithium battery power, 3,000 watt inverter, 330 watts of solar on the roof, and then they add a secondary alternator up on your coach, so when you're going down the road it can charge a little bit better, just to make sure you have plenty of power when you get to your campsite. But little walk around on the outside. If you have any questions, always feel free to give us a shout. My name's Eddie. My number is 616-965-9625. But let's pop inside and check out the floor plan. Okay, so here we are inside of the 2025 Renegade Vienna 25 VRML. So it's got the Cabover space, Geneva exterior. You kind of just watch the whole walk around on the outside. Here we are inside with the slide out. So first things first, this is light and bright. This is going to be the lightest wood tone that you can go with, which is called cashmere. There are two other options that you could go with, which are Lakewood, which is more of like a neutral, a little bit of a grayer wood grain. And then you have burnished sable, which is like a dark maple. So this is cashmere, feels really open, really bright. We actually closed a few of the blinds too, just because the sun is just so bright right now. And then usually they pair the cashmere with Athens for your actual decor option. So you'll see you have a little bit of a darker gray upholstery. That looks really good with this whiter cabinets. But that's kind of the color combo that we got going in this specific floor plan. This is going to have the biggest kitchen space of pretty much all of the Viennas. You have the largest amount of counter space right here, and then you also have this flip-up countertop for just some extra prep space. And then opening this up, you do have a big, round stainless steel sink. The fun thing about Renegade Vienna is a lot of times you go into class Bs or Cs and the cabinets feel a little cheaper, a little bit lighter. Renegade does like actual maple cabinets. They just stain them a specific color. So as you open stuff up, it feels super solid. Even when we get to the drawers, usually people use like plywood, but they're actually using like hardwood cabinets. If you check that out, they're solid. They're, I mean, almost an inch thick, and then you're gonna have dovetailed drawers. Just to make sure that this is, I mean, you're meant to hold on to this for a while. They want to make sure that you can get a good amount of time with this coach. It's built to last. So all your drawers are going to be dovetailed. Your cabinets are going to be real wood. Opening these up, you got a nice spot for like a trash can. They even have one in here because that's a big thing for a lot of like class Cs. It's 25 feet. You don't have a ton of space. So they want to make sure that you have room for everything you might want to bring. Smart TV up top, Samsung, and then you're going to have the JBL soundbar, which is probably identical to the one that is outside. So you do have that. It is on a magnet, so it does swivel around. If you can see behind there at all, I got the cabinets open, but you do have all your hookups right there and then some fuses, but it is held by a magnet. They can hear. Closing these cabinets. Options that you kind of got on this coach specifically is you can do a 2-burner cooktop, or you can do a single induction cooktop, which we went with just because that pairs really well with the enhanced lithium package. Since you don't have a generator and you're not utilizing propane as much, since you're just using it for the furnace and you have that lithium power. So single induction cooktop. Your Firefly system is right here, which is super responsive. So, I mean, I can just start clicking things and it just adjusts it as I click through it. A really cool thing about it is I can just hold this down and I can be dimming all my lights. So you can see it on the left as I hold that down. So everything that has an up and down arrow you can dim. Everything else is just going to be a light switch. You have a main system, which you can see your tank capacities, your LP capacity. This has pretty good cold weather capabilities. So you do have a tank heater on board for your tanks, so, or multiple tank heaters, I should say, so you can turn those on. That runs off a 12 volt. Your water pump, your Truma AquaGo water heater you can mess with, change your temperature. Then you got your lights. Then you can head in there and check out what you got going on for solar and your power draw and all that stuff. Head over to your furnace and your air conditioning controls, and also control your max air fans with rain sensors that you have on board. You can control those from here. Slide out and awning and leveling controls are from right there as well, and then you can just adjust what you want to control on your Firefly app. But that is super nice because even when it's cold, it's really responsive, so you can just start clicking through it even just when you get in here if it's like 30 degrees outside. Heading back from your kitchen space, you're going to have a convection microwave, which you can do a little bit of baking in there, but it's right above your refrigerator. The cool thing about Renegade is that, like, I'm not very tall. I'm like 5'8". Ask my wife, I'm 5'7". But you can get to the microwave even if you're shorter than me, which is pretty cool. Your refrigerator is going to run off a 12 volt. You do have a separate freezer, so a really big fridge for a 25-foot coach, while still maximizing the rest of your space. If you had a bigger fridge than this, you lose pantry space, which Renegade does really well. So your pantry area is actually right here next to your fridge. And check that out. So there's a ton of space for whatever you might need. Roll that in, lock it into place, and then under here you just have another storage compartment for anything you might need. Now, we're going to show you the bathroom in a second, but we're going to go through what else is in the slide out. So before we get there, you're going to see these controls all over the place. They are to control some of your lights and also like your vent fans. Same thing as the Firefly system. These are just a little bit easier to access depending on where you are. Maybe you're laying in bed. But you have some outlets. They added these hooks for 2025, which are great for hanging storage. I recommend putting them in before you run the slide in, just because I think that's important. With your sofa space, this is just going to be a sofa, right? You can sit down, you can lounge. If you're hosting, you can utilize this space. And then kind of hidden underneath here, a lot of people, even that own these, don't know these are under here, but they are not footrests. They are just big storage compartments that you can pull out. But to put your bed down, you just got to move these pillows. And we're not even going to cut from this because that's how easy it is to put your bed space down. Just to move these out of the way. And then I'm just going to fold this down, unlatch a couple latches, make sure I got hold of my mattress, and boom, we just made a bed. So when the bed space is down, of course my cushions are a little stuck right there, or my comforter. When the bed space is down, you do have a queen bed, and then you'll have a window back there, which is going to have a blackout shade, and then you'll have storage on either side. So some nice cubbies for if you're bringing some, you got some water, you need a CPAP machine or something. You do have little shelves even on the side, and then 110 outlets. But to put this back up, you basically just push forward, lock these into place, and voila. You now have a sofa again. So putting this up, I'll just move these out of the way, but check that out. It's really easy. It took me 45 seconds to put the bed down and to put it back up into a sofa. So it's super easy. It's not on a remote. Like it's not on a button or electric that could potentially fail. It's just a couple latches and you're good to go. The rest of your slide area is going to be taken up by your sofa space, which is theater seating. And so you have two lagoon-style tables rather than having a table that was actually in the floor. They went to these two lagoon-style tables so you can move them around. You can store them behind the theater seating if you want to. Makes it really easy, and you can only use one if you only want one, or if you don't want any, you can just put them away. Storage up above. Same thing as the kitchen space. Oh, you just got a few cabinets up there. Again, this is Athens decor, so you do have that darker gray. Cup holders and USB ports. So if you're going to be lounging and you want to charge your phone, you can do that. And then, like I said, these are recliners, so you can kick this out and do a little bit of reclining. And they go back actually pretty far, which is really cool. If you didn't want theater seating, you can also do a 4-person to 6-person dinette right here. So that is the other option. In this floor plan, it kind of depends what is important to you, just because you do have a sofa already, so you can use that for seating. But if theater seating is important, I would recommend this. But if you want to have like a hosting space where you can have a table in the center and then 2 bench seats, you could go that route. It's kind of your call. It's probably around 50-50 that we'd see that actually ordered. But in your front cabover space, you don't have the cabover. You just have a ton of storage. And then in this bag is actually going to be your sunshades up front for at night, which you can put in your chassis. But it's a little bit more aerodynamic. It depends on if you need the extra sleeping. Totally your call. I just wanted to make sure that we could show you this, just because we don't typically order them this way, but it is your option. Up front in the chassis area, you're going to have your Mercedes standards, which is really cool. So you got the adaptive cruise control, you got the lane assist, the brake assist, all your Mercedes safety features. Again, this is a 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel engine, and you're going to have power seating, heat and massage. You even have some profiles on your seats. So if one of you is driving, you have it at seat number 1, it'll move it to that position. other person pops over there and wants to drive, you can move it to seat number 2 and it'll move it to a different position. Both of these seats swivel as well, so they will totally rotate around to give you a little bit more hosting space. And then you do have a cab table right here, so if you stop and you grab Wendy's, you can rotate the seats actually in the middle and use this as kind of like your seating or your eating area, which I think is great. If you want cup holders, there's like 8 of them up front, so you can have as many drinks as you want, which is pretty cool. But then we're gonna check out the bathroom space. In the bathroom, this is gonna be like the largest bathroom that you'll find in a Renegade Vienna. You're gonna have a sink back there, you got your toilet, shower, and a huge storage bay. But underneath the sink, you're gonna have a nice cabinet and then a foot flush toilet on your right. And then in the farther corner, you're gonna have that shower, which has a glass shower door. So it's not just like a plastic or a roller shade, which is really nice. So it's a nice heavy duty. You have that Truma AquaGo Comfort Plus water heater, which will give you hot water right away. Behind that mirror, you do have a hidden medicine cabinet. Kind of tough to see, and it doesn't look like it's there, but it's about 4 inches deep, and you do have a medicine cabinet in the bathroom. On your left, you're gonna have a nice big storage closet, which is hanging storage, but you can fit whatever you want in there, but it's great if you wanna bring a bunch of clothes and hang them up. But one of the bigger bathrooms that you'll find in a Renegade Vienna. Okay, so here we are inside of the 2025 Renegade Vienna 25 RML. No Cabover, Geneva exterior color, interior is Athens and cashmere with the whiter wood grain. If you have any questions, give us a shout. This is Eddie at Veurink's RV Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan. My number is 616-965-9625. I try to be as knowledgeable as possible on these coaches because there is a lot to talk about. So if you need anything, always give us a call. Again, this has the enhanced lithium battery package. If you did not want that, you can also get the 3.6 kilowatt propane generator on board, which will take up that storage compartment that we looked at on the outside. But if you have any questions, give us a call. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.